I sit here in the dim light of my old study, the weight of 82 years pressing on my bones like the heavy oak desk before me. The fire crackles in the hearth, casting shadows that dance like ghosts from my past, and I can't help but stare at the faded photograph on the mantel, a younger me, strong and unbowed, holding a boy who once looked at me like I hung the stars. That boy grew into a man who shattered my world, but oh, how I turned the tables. Let me tell you, from the depths of a heart that's known more sorrow than joy, the story of how betrayal birthed my vengeance, and how vengeance, in its cold embrace, led to something I never expected. Pull up a chair, listen close, because this ain't just a tale, it's the scar on my soul, laid bare for you. My name is Elias Hawthorne, and I've walked this earth long enough to know that trust is a fragile thing, like the thin ice on a winter pond, beautiful until it cracks beneath your feet. I was born in the dusty backroads of rural Kentucky in 1943, during a time when the world was at war and folks like my parents scraped by on nothing but grit and prayer. My father was a coal miner, his lungs blacker than the seams he dug, and my mother mended clothes for pennies until her fingers bled. They taught me early that life don't owe you a damn thing. You carve your piece out with calloused hands and a sharp mind. I left home at 17, hitchhiked to Chicago with $50 in my pocket and a dream of building something that'd outlast me. That's where it all started. The empire no one knew about, not even the son who'd come to see me as nothing more than a relic to be discarded. Chicago in the 60s was a beast of a city, roaring with opportunity and danger in equal measure. I started small, working odd jobs, delivering papers, fixing cars, anything to keep food on the table. But I had a knack for seeing what others missed. One day, while repairing engines in a greasy garage, I noticed how folks were crazy about their automobiles, treating them like family. That's when the idea hit me. Not just fix them, but make them shine, inside and out. I saved every penny, bought a rundown lot on the outskirts, and opened my first auto detailing shop in 1965. Called it Hawthorne Shine. It wasn't much, a hose, some buckets, and elbow grease, but I poured my soul into it. Customers came, word spread, and soon I had lines out the door. By 70, I'd expanded to 3 locations, then 5. I kept it quiet, though, no flashy signs, no big ads. I reinvested everything, bought properties smart, and built a network of shops across the Midwest. Auto detailing turned into full-service centers, washes, repairs, even custom modifications. By the time I was 40, I had 28 locations spanning Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio, pulling in revenues that'd make your eyes water. But I lived simple, modest house in a quiet suburb, old pickup truck, clothes from the thrift store. Why? Because flash draws envy, and envy breeds thieves. I learned that the hard way early on. It was in 75 that I met Clara. She was a schoolteacher, with eyes like summer skies and a laugh that could melt the coldest heart. We married quick, in a little chapel with just us and the preacher. She knew about the business, of course. She was my rock, handling the books in the evenings while I managed the day-to-day. Our son, Theodore, Teddy, we called him, was born in 78, a bundle of joy that filled our home with light. Clara and I raised him right, or so I thought. I worked long hours, but I was there for the important stuff, his first steps, school plays, baseball games. I paid for private tutors, summer camps, the works. But Clara got sick in 92, cancer, the kind that don't give you a fighting chance. She fought for 2 years, but in the end, it took her. I was left alone with Teddy, 14 and angry at the world. I threw myself into the business to cope, expanding to 45 shops by then, stretching into Michigan and Wisconsin. Revenues hit 7 figures annually, but I kept it hidden from Teddy. Didn't want him growing up spoiled, thinking money grew on trees. I told him we were comfortable, nothing more. He went to college on scholarships I secretly funded, graduated with honors in business, and started his own venture, a tech startup in Silicon Valley, far from our Chicago roots. I helped him quietly, wiring money as loans he'd never repay, investing in his dreams because that's what fathers do. Years rolled on, and I hit 60, then 70. The business grew to 62 locations, a silent empire worth over 80 million, managed through trusts and loyal managers who'd been with me since the start. I retired officially at 65, but kept oversight from my home office, a converted attic where I pored over spreadsheets by lamplight. Teddy visited less and less, married a woman named Vanessa in '05, a sharp-tongued lawyer with ambitions bigger than her heart. They had 2 kids, my grandkids, Lily and Max, who I adored from afar. Teddy's startup flourished, then faltered. He pivoted to consulting, advising big firms on digital strategies. I bailed him out more times than I can count, always anonymously through investors. But as I aged, something shifted in him. Calls grew shorter, visits rarer. He started hinting about my situation, living alone in the old house, struggling, on a pension. I played along, never revealing the truth. Why? Pride, maybe, or testing him. Little did I know, the test would come sooner than expected, and it would break me open like a rotten fruit. It was a chilly autumn evening in 2023. I was 79 then, when the betrayal slithered into my life like a snake in the garden. I'd been feeling off, a persistent cough that wouldn't quit, so I saw the doc. Nothing serious, just age catching up, but it got me thinking about legacies, about passing the torch. I decided to update my will, make sure Teddy and the grandkids were taken care of. But that night, as I sat in my recliner with a cup of tea, I heard voices from the guest room upstairs. Teddy and Vanessa were visiting for the weekend, supposedly to check on Dad. I'd gone to bed early, but insomnia kept me awake. Their words drifted down through the vents, clear as day. "You have to do it, Ted," Vanessa hissed, her voice laced with that calculating edge I'd always disliked. "He's 80 soon. We can't keep propping him up. The house is worth at least 1.5 million now, with the market booming. Sell it, get him into a senior home. Something cheap, on the edge of town. Give him a little cash to shut him up, say 20 grand. He'll think it's a fortune." Teddy's laugh was low, bitter. "You think he'll go quietly? Dad's stubborn as a mule. He's broke, Ted. Pension barely covers his bills. We've been sending money for years. It's draining us. Frame it as helping him. Dad, this is for your own good. No more worries. Once the sale goes through, we use the proceeds to pay off our debts, invest in the firm. And when he's gone, well, whatever's left is ours anyway." I froze, tea spilling on my lap, burning but unfelt. My own son, plotting to strip me of my home, the house where Clara and I built our life, where Teddy learned to ride a bike in the driveway. They thought me helpless, a doddering fool with empty pockets. Oh, the irony. If they knew about the empire, the 62 detailing centers, the real estate holdings, the portfolio yielding millions yearly, they'd be begging, not scheming. But rage boiled in me, hot and pure. I'd given him everything. $250,000 for college. $150,000 for his wedding, yearly, gifts, totaling over $500,000. And this, betrayal. I lay awake all night, memories flooding like a storm. Flashbacks to Clara's deathbed, her whispering, "Take care of our boy, Elias." I'd promised, but this severed that vow. By morning, the anger had cooled into something sharper, resolve. I played the part, frail old man, oblivious. Over breakfast, I smiled, asked about the grandkids. They left that afternoon, promising to return soon. As their car pulled away, I went to my attic office, unlocked the safe, and pulled out files. Time to prepare. First, I called my lawyer, Harlan Fisk, a grizzled vet who'd handled my affairs for decades. "Harlan, I need ironclad protections. Trusts, firewalls, Make sure no one can touch the business without my say-so. And prepare for war. War. Elias. With who? My son. He's coming for what's mine. Harlan didn't blink. He knew my story. We spent hours on the phone, then in person the next day. I restructured everything. The shops into an irrevocable trust, assets shielded from claims, power of attorney revoked preemptively. I added clauses for inheritance. Teddy would get nothing unless he proved worthy, through trials I'd design. It hurt, like cutting off my own limb, but necessary. Next, I contacted my managers, loyal folks like Rosa in Ohio and Jamal in Indiana. Eyes open, I said. Change is coming. Trust me. Days turned to weeks. I waited, suspense building like a noose tightening. Then, the hammer fell. Teddy called, voice slick as oil. Dad, we need to talk. Vanessa and I, we've made a decision. For your sake. He arrived alone, 2 months later, on a rainy November day. Suited up, briefcase in hand, he dropped the bomb in my living room. I sold the house. Got 1.6 million. Here's 20,000 for you. Buy a spot in that retirement village out by the highway. It's got activities, meals included. You'll love it. I stared, heart pounding, but face calm. Sold. This is my home, son. You deeded it to me years ago, remember. For tax reasons. It's legal. Be realistic, Dad. You're old, can't keep up. This is mercy. Mercy. The word echoed, mocking. I took the check, fingers steady. And if I refuse, 30 days to vacate. Papers are filed. He left, not looking back. Alone, I laughed, a bitter, broken sound. He had no idea. That night, I began the revenge. Phase 1. Expose his illusions. Teddy's consulting firm was leveraged to the hilt. Loans from banks where I had pull. I'd helped him get those loans, quietly vouching. Now, I'd undo it. I called my contact at Midwest National, a VP named Carla who'd banked my empire's deposits for years, millions monthly. Carla, it's Elias. About my son, Theodore Hawthorne. His loan. I have concerns. Character issues. He's defrauding family, selling assets without consent. Might reflect on his business ethics. She paused. Elias, that's serious. We'll review. Within days, Teddy got the call. Loan accelerated. Full repayment due. 300,000 or foreclosure on his office. Panic set in. He showed up at my door, disheveled. Dad, the bank. They're calling in everything. Some risk assessment. I need help. Maybe co-sign a new loan. I shook my head, voice heavy with feigned regret. Son, I'm just an old man on Social Security. Can't help with that. He left, furious, but the seed was planted. Flashback. Me at 30, starting the first shop, Clara pregnant with Teddy. We'll give him the world, she'd said. Now, the world was crumbling on him. Phase 2. Dismantle his network. Teddy prided himself on connections. Investors, clients, socialites. I knew them all, indirectly. I'd funded some through proxies. I arranged meetings via mutual friends, posing as helpful dad. First, with Victor Lang, a venture capitalist. Ted, I set up lunch with Victor. Old friend. Pitch your firm. At the restaurant, Teddy shone. Projections, plans. Then, casually, I interjected. Victor's all about integrity. Ted here, well, he's efficient. Sold his old man's house out from under him, gave pocket change. Smart business, right, cutting losses. Victor's face hardened. Family first, Elias. Sorry, Ted, not interested. Meeting after meeting, the same. Teddy's deals evaporated. Clients pulled out, citing reputation risks. Whispers spread. Hawthorne Jr. screws over his own dad. His firm teetered. Inner monologue raged in me. Am I a monster? No. This is justice. He broke us. Now he feels the break. Twist 1. Vanessa. I hadn't targeted her, but she called me, voice trembling. Elias, what's happening? Ted's falling apart. The firm's tanking. Friends ghosting us. I sighed, wise and weary. Betrayal has consequences, dear. He thought me weak. Now the truth outs. She confessed. It was my idea, the sale. I pushed him. Regret. Too late. They argued. She left, taking the kids temporarily. Teddy hit rock bottom, alone in a motel after eviction from his own home. Irony thick. But wait, a new twist. During this, I discovered a secret. Digging into Teddy's finances, via a private investigator, old habits, I found he'd been siphoning from a joint account I'd set up years ago for the grandkids. 50,000 gone, gambled on bad investments. Fury renewed. I confronted him in a park, rain pouring. You stole from your own children. I thundered, voice cracking with age and emotion. He wept. Dad. I was desperate. Forgive me. No. Phase 3. The reveal. I invited him to my new place, actually one of my flagship shops in downtown Chicago, disguised as a warehouse. He arrived, broken. Son, welcome to Hawthorne Shine. My empire. 62 locations, 80 million strong. His jaw dropped. Tour. Buzzing bays, revenue screens flashing 6 figures daily. You're rich. Built it while you slept. Sacrificed for you. And you discarded me. He collapsed, sobbing. Flashbacks. Me holding him as a baby, Clara smiling. Regret washed over me. Had I gone too far? Redemption arc. With twist, I offered a job, entry level, mopping floors. Earn your way back. Prove you're my son. He did. Months of labor, humility growing. Grandkids visited, bridges mended. Vanessa returned, chastened. But the final twist. In my will, I left half to charity, half to him, only if he ran a shop honestly for 5 years. No free rides. Now, at 82, I look back with a mix of sorrow and satisfaction. Vengeance healed us, strangely. Life's funny that way. If this tale touched you, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more stories from an old man's heart. What's your take? Comment below. Thanks for listening.